Good morning. Just a few thoughts on Venezuela as I come to you on Sunday, the 4th of January. First, President Trump has removed Nicolas Maduro from office. He has arrested him, and I guess he's on his way to New York, to the Southern District Federal Court in New York, where he'll face charges for narco trafficking. But the situation in Venezuela is not done yet. The main groups or main individuals that kept him in power, people like Diosdado Cabello, the interior minister and the head of the colectivos, who is associated with Cuba and repression of opposition groups. He's the hardliner. He's still there. He's still alive, and vowing to mount military opposition to the U.S. Efforts. Similarly, Vladimir Padrino López, the defense minister, another hardliner, is still there. And again, along with Cabello, vowing to keep control over Venezuela, and continue repressing its people. Delcy Rodríguez, her brother Jorge Rodríguez, and the Attorney General William Saab are also mainstays of the Chavez-Maduro regime, and they have to be removed. Removing one man does not transform or liberate a nation. So that President Trump must remove all these individuals I just named in order to succeed in liberating Venezuela. Otherwise, it will be an abject failure. Similarly, President Trump must stop framing his arguments concerning Venezuela's futures in the kind of old dollar diplomacy under William Taft, or the Roosevelt corollary to the Monroe Doctrine paradigm. These cannot be perpetuated in today's age. And even if President Trump does want a stake in Venezuelan oil, there are much better frameworks. The Apertura Petrolera of the 1990s, when PDVSA allowed foreign participation in Venezuelan oil production, is a much better alternative. And a government headed by Edmundo González Urrutia and Maria Corina Machado, which has to follow in short order. They will easily agree to an apertura petrolera, allowing for a return of the 1990s framework. They'll probably establish PDVSA again as a non-political, technocratic institution, which worked marvelously well before Chavez destroyed it by firing about 18,000 employees and taking over its functions in order to fulfill a political program that destroyed Venezuelan oil. PDVSA will likely be restored because Venezuelan nationalization of oil took place in the 1970s under Carlos Andrés Pérez. But the nationalization of Venezuelan oil was carried out with full compensation for foreign companies. So all the companies that had property or stakes in Venezuelan oil production were paid on a one-to-one basis, and it was a compensation was agreed to fully. After that, PDVSA was established as a technocratic, non-political institution that handled Venezuelan oil and did so very, very well, even in the midst of the widespread, monumental corruption levels in Venezuela. And that lasted until Hugo Chavez decided that Venezuelan oil would be turned to his political purposes. But PDVSA had joint ventures, and later in the 1990s allowed for foreign ownership, limited foreign ownership in Venezuelan petroleum production. So that should be restored. But it should be done privately and not publicly. And President Trump, I think, does American foreign policy a disservice if he does not shy away from bombastic and murky statements concerning Venezuela's future, and framing these in terms that harken back to the 19th and early 20th century. That will not benefit anyone, not Venezuela and not the United States. Furthermore, a transition must take place after these people, Cabello, Padrino, López, the Rodríguez siblings, William Saab, are removed from power and the colectivos are shut down. The military has to be co-opted, but the colectivos are the ideological weapon that the government of Chavez and Maduro used to pound opposition groups and opposition voices into the ground. Those individuals and those institutions, particularly the colectivos, the people's militia, have to be neutralized and removed. Once this is done, the president will succeed. Well, bye.